everyone. I would just like to make a quick statement before we jump into the fantasy news, specifically in regards to what unfolded here on the channel over the last couple of weeks. I just want to say, one, I appreciate everyone who has been so fervently trying to spread the word about my innocence and, undo the damage that's been done here on the channel. But the proper response to that is not to yell at other content creators or authors. I think the best thing to do in a time like this is show grace. There are certainly some damaged relationships, but this is between me and those other creators. Let's just let everyone be, show some grace, and move on.
You know, the irony of this is the internet will internet, regardless of anything I say, regardless of anything Daniel Greene will say. It will always internet. You want to know something you probably don't know? Is that there were plenty of booktubers that really didn't talk about this either. I think most people kind of speak in this perspective as if the book community as a whole. And it's probably a lot of the big dogs and some of the smaller dogs that jumped the gun and was like guilty till proven innocent. And, this is ultimately seen in, the various apology videos that exist. Dude, I heard so many people talking shit about Read and Find Out. I've never seen any of his videos, but tons of people were pissed at him. Tons of people were also pissed at Jack. Hell, I've seen people completely pissed at Murphy. Why? Because people will be people and the internet will be the internet. But, in relation to what he's saying, I don't think that, and I'm pretty confident he would agree to this, is it time to forgive? Sure. I will say that's up to you. Should we forget? No. Because this entire situation is a tragedy within of itself that culminates, unfortunately, to have negative effects for other actual sexual assault victims. And I think that's the greatest lesson that people should be taking away from this. You can sit here, you can hate his guts for cheating on his girlfriend, at time, now fiance. You could sit here and you can hate all of these people's guts, her guts. It doesn't matter whose guts, my guts. The greater point here is that hopefully people can take a lesson from this situation. Yeah, you'll take note I said people, not booktube. People. She did more harm for sexual assault victims than she did positive things. And is the solution to just give a quick apology and move on? Unfortunately, yes. I mean, what more can you ask of these individuals? What more do you want from them? What more could you want from them? I talked about this already. Mistakes were made. Big mistakes. And granted, to me, I still believe it's up to you on whether or not you forgive these people, whether you unsubscribe from them, whether you unsubscribe from him. But the one thing that shouldn't matter is whether you're left or you're right, because I've seen that mentioned 5 billion times. Oh, he brought this upon himself. He's a lefty, woke, go broke piece of shit. Oh, okay. We always got to bring the left and the right into everything. It's kind of ironic. Here's a hot topic for you. It's kind of ironic that Martin Luther King fought to end segregation. What does America do? We simply mutate that segregation to blue and red. We can sit here at the end of the day till we're blue in the face, talking about how much you hate these individuals, how much you think their apologies are fake. But at the end of the day, it's really between them and Daniel Greene, especially when it comes to his friends. It's between them. And the irony of this, there were a decent amount of booktubers that didn't even talk about it. Brian Lee Durfee, he just kept on booktubing, reviewing books. Elliot, she just talked about victims in general and tried to encourage them to come forth. She didn't mention any names. She didn't mention any specific incident or situation that was currently happening on BookTube. If you ask me, these are like the two best ways that it could have been handled and that a lot of these individuals should have handled it. But that's not what happened. So I would ultimately say that at the end of the day, is it time to forgive? Yes, but that's up to you. Should we forget? No, because that would be a slap in the face to sexual assault victims everywhere. This is something that everyone should learn from as a whole, as the book community, as BookTube, as AuthorTube, as YouTube, as humanity should learn from. And the sad truth of this is that there are other stories similar to Daniel Greene's. So it goes to show you that even if we have stories that repeat themselves where the supposed victim has lied, people will still be people because people choose not to learn. The difference here is that is a slap in the face to actual sexual assault victims. It makes it harder for them to come forth. But I would also say that, social media is not the place that you should be doing this, because right off the bat, that's going to be a red flag for everyone. This probably would be a completely different story if Naomi had went to the police and made this entire thing more private. And the only way that BookTube would have found out about it is maybe if a news article popped up. That's it. But that's not what happened. I mean, there's a lot to learn from this situation. So I would say that forgive, sure. It's up to you, though. Forget, no. Because that would be a slap in the face to sexual assault victims. People should remember this and try to remember this, and remember that this isn't the only kind of scenario that has happened before. And it's why it makes it harder for sexual assault victims to come forward. Because the more women that are allowed to do this, and there isn't consequences, jail time consequences for doing this, the harder it's going to make for sexual assault victims to come forward and be taken seriously. And, you know, that's not a fault of Daniel Greene. And that's not a fault of any of these individuals. It is the fault of this individual because she's the one that perpetuated the lie. She painted a canvas and everyone and their mother believed it. And then, you know, they felt bad, did apologies. So yes, Daniel Greene, is it time for the book community to move on? I can agree to that, but it's not something they should forget, and it's not something they should not talk about. It's something they definitely should remember and talk about, because that will have a more positive effect for sexual assault victims to remember a situation like this and to be like, all right, I support the victim, but I'm not going to vitriolize or try to cancel whoever the individual is. I'm going to wait and let this play out. I'm not going to try to feed the algorithm for more views, because it's also possible that, yes, people such as these, that's probably why they did it. But I don't know that. You don't know that. And, you know, like they say, assumptions is the mother of all fuck-ups. And you can't get a greater assumption than all the assumptions that everyone made. I mean, you look at her, even she made assumptions. There's a reason why the saying is assumption is the mother of all fuck-ups. Anyway, that's all I got to say in regards to this. I heard him mention that last night when I was listening to Fantasy News, and, well, here's this video. I'm pretty confident that Daniel is intelligent enough to know that, like, should the book community move on from this situation? Yes. Should they forget? No. They should remember. That way there isn't a repeat mistake if a situation pops up later where the victim is actually being honest or dishonest, like Naomi King. Innocent till proven guilty. It's here for a reason. I mean, even in this modern age we live in, people go to prison and then get out years later after they were found innocent. And some of these people waste their entire life in there, more than half their life, for a crime they didn't commit. This isn't like my thought or opinion. This does happen. There's a reason why we have innocent till proven guilty. Because the public usually is pretty stupid when it comes to these decisions and situations. I hope you enjoyed this video in some fashion or form. And hopefully you've learned a lesson from this entire situation. Whether you hate Daniel Greene, whether you hate the people that condemned him, whether you still think Daniel Greene is guilty, hopefully everyone learned a lesson. Because that's the only thing that's going to help sexual assault victims. Forgetting is going to help no one.